All right. Hello. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, coming out of our 4-day long weekend. And we're seeing come in. You go ahead and introduce yourself, ask questions. Let's just review some things. The AP test is May 13th at 1 p.m. That is a Wednesday. So you will want to make sure that you're off work. You'll want to make sure that your Chromebook is charged and ready to go ahead and visit the website and then log into your College Board account. We haven't gotten specific instructions about how to do that yet, but we will in plenty of time. So don't worry about that. Grades for the 5th 6 weeks will be finalized tonight. I'll send around a message when they're done. Practice Essay 6 is going to move to the last 6 weeks as one of the graded activities. But you will all get credit for having done it. There are just several people who haven't done it yet, and I don't want it to be counting in 1 6 weeks for one group and 1 6 weeks for another. So we're just going to move it all into the last 6 weeks. So that's the test, May 13th, 1 p.m. So make sure you're off work, those of you who are working during the day. Today's class, we have a question here from Caesar, and he asks, how do you know what type of essay you have to write? For example, persuasive essay or a expository essay? Well, one thing we've talked about is that the essay you're going to face on May 13th is rhetorical analysis. That's where you read a passage. I'm going to ask you a question about it. A lot of the times it has to do with character development. Sometimes it has to do with mood or tone in the setting, which is why pretty much every online review class has to do with setting or tone or mood or analyzing characters, because that's what the essay is going to be about. So, once again, for those of you who haven't been with us, no poetry, no open-ended essay, no multiple choice section. So I think it's good news for us, because the essays that we've been writing this year have been strong. One thing I'll be sending you is your progress charts that you were filling out in your journal. So if your journal was at school the last day before spring break and your chart was inside your journal, then I'm going to be sending you your scores for essays 1 through 6. We will be doing a revision for essay 6. Thursday we'll have a session just about some of the most common issues. By Thursday, you'll get back a copy of your essay with lots of feedback on it. And the revision will be due sometime next week. So you'll have a week to revise it, just like when we were doing it at school. So that's that about the test and about the essays revision 6, and then about your grades. Those will go in and be finalized tonight. Anything that was a 0 is going to become a 50. And then anything that you turned in late, but you turned it in, there's no penalty for lateness. So other questions that you have, now would be a great time to put them up either in Remind or in the chat right here. Questions about the class that we just had as far as contrasts and characters. I think that one thing that you should take from this class is the balance between a protagonist and an antagonist. Obviously, we won't know the whole story of the novel that the passage comes from on the essay, unless you happen to have read it, and they don't pick novels that are widely taught. So that's not something that I would expect to see. But I would expect to see the protagonist, and I would expect to see, if not the antagonist as a character, like Batman and Robin, or Harry Potter and Voldemort, or Othello and Iago. If that other character is not present, the antagonizing force, I think, will be present for you to find. Now, for example, there are times, if we look at jealousy and anger, it's a force that opposes Othello. And it's not just present in Iago, it's present in Rodrigo, it's present in Othello himself. And so if you had a conversation between Othello and Desdemona, she's not the antagonist, obviously, but the jealousy that Othello feels because of the doubt that Iago has planted would be something that you would probably want to discuss. I would imagine that if it were that passage, you might talk about, it might ask you to discuss the changes in, or not the changes because you won't have the whole play, but maybe the complexity in Othello's attitude towards Desdemona. And part of that complexity comes from, well, they're newlyweds, right? So they should be, lovey-dovey still, even though they've gone off to war. I mean, there wasn't anybody there to fight, so the stress of that is gone. So that jealousy at work in Othello's mind is a force that you would want to talk about. I did, and I will put up the notes that I took, as well as some of the screenshots that they provided, like I've been doing. All right, up to you now. Questions about the AP test, the class today, school in general, anything that you need insight on while we're here? For the reflections for this week, there's one sheet for the whole week. It's going to be a grade. One of the 4 questions is today. One of the questions is about tomorrow's class. Question 3 has to do with Thursday's class. I'm going to put up a whole session where we go through the essay prompt again, essay 6, and then we talk about changes, and you can come in and ask questions. Let me put this on pause a second and see if I can answer your question about PowerSchool. I'm able to get into PowerSchool. I don't know on the student side. I don't know if they've stopped it or what, but I am able to get into PowerSchool. Other questions about school, test, AP test? Oh, going through those reflection questions. The third question is about Thursday's class. The fourth question, kind of Brave New World overall, your perspective. Each of those 4 questions is 25 points apiece. And then the 5th question, optional. If you have memories about Mr. Warnock that you want to put down, I'll put together kind of a collage of those and send them to Miss Vega to send to his family. And obviously that's optional if that's something that you want to share or not. On Twitter, we've seen a lot of student responses, not just students at the school now, but alumni, because he's been at Sunset a long time. So. Okay, last call for questions. How are you guys doing? Kiara says, doing good, but bored. How are you? Yeah, I was thinking about that this weekend. Is it a 4-day weekend if you're in the same place you've been, for a few weeks now, and you're looking at the same people you've been looking at? I guess it depends on who all's there. I bet things seem kind of get chaotic, but hopefully this will pay off, A, and it'll protect a lot of us from being sick, and then B, it won't be too long. I did send out an update that Miss Vega sent in Remind as far as the latest news about senior activities. They're going to make some decisions, it looks like, this week, or by April 19th, and release that information. Any other questions? Okay, so tomorrow we will look at tomorrow's review class, not today's. It's about setting, and I think we're pretty good with setting. Tomorrow we're going to look at one called Unpacking Symbolism, that I'll put the link up to, and then we'll have a Q&A after that. But we will see you then. So hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and we'll see you tomorrow.